Gun. This gun? Okay. Kom je komt. Coming off that. Coming off that. They're gonna shoot. They're gonna fucking shoot. Found Robbie. Found Robbie. Found Josh. Ask him where they are. Fucking shoot him. The light road. The light road. Fuck.
Hello and welcome to another day in paradise, and welcome to another edition of the Unapologetic Negropian. In today's video I want to speak a little bit about the video that you just watched. That was an attempted armed robbery of a armored car over there in Johannesburg, South Africa. I wanted to break down what actually happened first of all, and I wanted to speak a little bit about security in Africa and why it's so lax in South Africa, to be more specific. And I wanted to ask one fundamentally important question: is Africa safe? Because this happened in South Africa, which in general is one of the safest countries in Africa. Okay, if you live in certain areas, you know what I mean. But in general, the country is far more safer than, say, Somalia or Eritrea. Eritrea is safe if you know the right people. I want to try and answer these questions today. I want to first ask you to please like, subscribe, share, click the bell notification, and please consider supporting the channel on our Patreon, link in the description. And we're going to go a little bit into this armored car, this attempted robbery of this armored car in South Africa. Now, first of all, there's one thing that sort of bugs me about this video. The main thing is looking at the way both these guys reacted to being shot at. Okay, so they both stayed relatively calm. The black guy, the African guy, seemed to be more shocked. I don't want to sit here and start making excuses for him, but he looked a great deal younger than the other gentleman. The white South African gentleman, who sort of sprang into action, kind of like, I don't know, it was like he was not fearless. He started panting at first, and this is something you guys could learn when you're in that situation. He started panting, he started hyperventilating at first, and that's something that you can't help, a response that your body sort of floods your body filled with adrenaline. And it's a flight or fight response. Actually running away at first, of course, it's a flight response. He's got all that adrenaline pumping through him, so he's starting to hyperventilate. When you start hyperventilating like that, you tend to make mistakes, because you tend to get tired really quickly. So it's one thing, you need to watch it carefully. He stops his breathing and he starts taking deep breaths. He starts controlling his breathing, and then he just takes feelings out of the equation altogether. This is the driver we're talking about here. He just takes these feelings out of the equation. He thinks logically, rationally. His training kicks into gear, and boom. First of all, they contact the center that they work for to ask for backup. That's the first thing they do. The second thing they do, they arm the gun. The guns are already armed, right? But they start putting bullets inside the guns. The white gentleman gives the black gentleman I'm not sure what kind of a rifle it was, but he gives him the rifle, and it looks like a well-used rifle. Okay, so this is South Africa we're talking about here. And then they drive, and I cannot see where they are driving to. All you can see is the reaction on these guys' faces. Okay, so the black guy, I would like to say that he doesn't look scared, but he does. He looks really scared. Okay, but I think that just comes with, and once again, I don't want to start making excuses, but I think the white guy looked like he was more experienced. You know, he looked like he was more an experience, like he'd been in a firefight before. And the black guy looked, I don't know, he looked fearful for what was about to come. And I know they're not paying him that much money, and that's kind of what he looked like. He was like, yo, they're paying me $15 an hour for what? For me to risk my life for their money that's already insured. I don't know. I think I would have thought the same thing as well. I wouldn't have been scared, but definitely would have thought twice about going after them. Get yourself some armed training. I have armed training. I'm from the UK, and I don't even have a license. I don't have a license, but I've been trained. I know how to use a firearm. You know, no one can take that from you. Once you have that knowledge, you can keep it. Okay, so go somewhere that does give you that firearms training. You know, firearms training is like having a condom. It's better that you have it and don't need it than need it and don't have it. You understand? So that's firearms training. Do what you can to get yourself some training. It doesn't cost the world, especially if you're watching from the United States. If you haven't had firearms training, boy, come on, man, you need to get off your bum and get to work. Give yourself that training. It can be priceless. Be aware of your surroundings. This is something which most locals, most of the people in South Africa who live in South Africa, they know this. Be aware of your surroundings just before you get into your car. Be careful. Look for other cars that are driving around. Park your car in a space where you have good visibility. Don't park your car somewhere where there's no lights at night clearly. Just be sensible. You need to apply all those types of things that I wouldn't have to apply where I live right now. I live a very safe life. But if we live in a place like in South Africa, disparity in society between the haves and have-nots, it's disgusting. It's turning South Africa and the people into desperate people. It's one thing that I have trouble with Nelson Mandela about. I think he could have done more. I truly do believe. I mean, I could say this in hindsight now. Yeah, he could have done more. But we have Julius Malema and the EFF, and I'm hoping those guys can do something. They can turn things around. It's not going to stay this way. It's not going to stay this way, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that they can be the lasting change, that they can rebalance the society over there, retaking land that is rightfully theirs in the first place and giving it back to the people, to the real people that own it. Another thing you see in this shot is the way the white guy is focused, right? He's totally focused. And rumor is flying around right now that he was part of the armed forces before in South Africa. Who knows? Maybe, maybe not, you know, but I heard that on social media, and like I said, you can't believe what you see on social media, can you? But I found it interesting that he managed to compose himself, okay? So God knows what they were carrying, but those guys were organized, okay? Imagine driving down the road in a bulletproof car, and then your windows shatter on both sides of your car, okay? So people are attempting to shoot out your windows, right? They're trying to put that fear into you. This is what they were doing in the first place, right? They were trying to put the fear into those guys by shooting out the windows and overwhelming them with firepower at first. It just didn't work. It didn't work for them on that day. But on another day, with another driver, with another perhaps less experienced guard there, who knows? But guys, what I wanted to do is I wanted to give you a bit of advice from my own experience, bodyguarding and security over the years. I would say this: if you're in the situation where you are safe, never put yourself into danger. Okay, so as you could see in that video, it wasn't right until the very end that they actually got out of the armored car. I'm not sure where they parked up, but I'm guessing it was outside a police station. Okay, that would have been the smart thing to do, because and then they got out the truck. It didn't look like they had any fixed procedures in place for if something like that happened, right? Every man for themselves, it looked like in the end. But you know, they got out the situation in a safe place. There is no way you should get out of your car under any circumstances, right? If those people are pointing guns or machetes at you. Okay, put the pedal to the metal and get out of town. Really, that is what you must do, and that is what these guys did. Fair play to them. Like I said, they jumped out of the van at the end, but they must have been in a safe situation. You know, situational awareness is very important. And of course, another thing I must add as well, guys, if you live in a place where carrying a firearm is legal, definitely buy one. Absolutely buy a firearm. I think it's essential, especially if you are living in a country like the United States or in certain parts of Africa. I think it's absolutely crucial to have a firearm. And if you don't have a firearm, hire somebody. If you're planning to travel around, hire somebody who does have the applicable licenses to carry a firearm and perhaps has a little bit of training. They don't cost the world over there. It doesn't cost the world to have someone like that in Joburg, or perhaps in, you know, certain parts of Africa, you know, like Nigeria, or even in Ghana. You know, you can hire somebody like that for less than what, $50 a day, something like that. You know, it's worth it. You know, a small price to pay for the amount of the amount of safety you're going to get. You know, for protecting your life. So definitely something I would consider if you're planning to roam around Africa. Another thing I'd say is that, like I said, this money was not theirs. It wasn't their money. Yes, they got away. Yes, I'm happy that they got away. But if you're in a situation where you have somebody else's money and you know that money is insured, it's insured. Okay? There's going to be no blowbacks for you. You don't know whether these guys had a bomb or something. They could have had anything, right? Don't step out. Don't confront them. Give them what you got. It doesn't matter. You'll live to fight another day. But, you know, if you're there trying to protect other rich man's money, and you know these rich men are going to get their money anyway, they're going to get their money back anyway. They're never going to lose anything. You could lose your life trying to protect it, you know. All you're going to do, all these two were doing really, were protecting the insurance premiums of their company. They weren't protecting the money that they were carrying. That's insured. So that's the worst thing that would have happened. right? They would have both lost their lives for protecting this money, and if they did lose their lives, the insurance premiums the insurance would have paid out to the people who own the money, and the company will move on, and you'll be gone. Not worth it, if I was you anyway. So if I'm in that situation, I would be telling them to take whatever you've got and move on. Just move on, especially if it's not your money, especially if it's a conglomerate like G4 or something. Give them the dough. Just give it to them. Anyway, so another thing, so that's one thing. I just want to recap on some of the things. I just want to recap on some of the things that I just went over. So number one, keep calm in that situation. Okay, focus. Don't hyperventilate. Think logically and rationally. It's really important that you do that in those situations. So that's number one. Number two, if you can stay inside the vehicle, it's always going to be safer inside the vehicle. Don't get out. As soon as you get out, you're at their will. They could do whatever they want with you. So stay inside the vehicle and try and get away, even if they're pointing guns at you. Some people will shoot you anyway. That's just the way it is. Don't give them that power. Get away as soon as you can. Put your foot down to the floor and get away as soon as possible. Number three, I mean, this is something which I haven't really spoke about, but guys, you know, you have to focus and think about the type of vehicle security you have in Africa. There is no way I would live in South Africa without having a bulletproof car. I wouldn't do it. My friend's got one. My friend drives around in a BMW that is the former BMW of Angela Merkel. She had it many years ago. It's one of the first sort of bangle-mangle BMW 7 Series, and it's an armoured car. It's beautiful. It's really nice to know that they've got that level of protection. If you can get one, guys, get one. It could save your life, you know, and it gives you the added protection. If I was in the United States, I think I'd have one. I'm not sure if there's laws against it. There probably is laws against it in the United States, isn't there? You know, because the bullets bounce off the windows, so it's dangerous for whoever's shooting you. Believe it or not. So yeah, if you can get yourself some protection, protect yourself, guys. You know, you can live to see another day. Go to court, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Protect yourself. And what else? Guys, you know, it freaks me out. This is South Africa here we're talking about. And when I was watching the video, I didn't know which country it was in, but I made the assumption it was South Africa at first. And lo and behold, it happened in South Africa. I don't know, there's something about that country, and I truly believe there's something to do with the difference between upper class and lower class. I think that it has a small middle class. Too small. It is growing, but it needs to be much larger because there are so many people with so little, and then a tiny amount of people that has so much. It's almost as if apartheid South Africa did not end. You know, so you got people who are going to these desperate measures in order to make money, risking their lives. It's not like they didn't know that these guys weren't armed. Of course they knew they were armed. They knew they were going to shoot back, but they didn't care. And boy, those kinds of criminals, they are really on it, you know, and some of them have been to prison. They are hardened criminals. You don't really want to mess with them. So yeah, do whatever you can to stay away from them. Give them what you've got, but you really need to think on your feet. That's what you need to do. You need to think on your feet. If you can leave, you can fight or flight. If you can go, go. If not, give them what you've got. Live to fight another day. Guys, what do you think about that attempted armed robbery? What would you do if you were in that situation? What would you do if you was in that situation? Would you have driven away? Would you have just cocked your whatever rifle you got back, started shooting back? Not a smart thing to do, by the way, but what would you have done in that situation? Leave a comment in the comment section. It would be really good to hear what you have to say about this. Guys, thank you for putting up with me. I wanted to speak about that, and I'm really happy I've got that off my chest. There was another video I wanted to talk about as well, but it's got nothing to do with security, so I'm not going to do it. We'll see anyway. I'll give you guys one of those questionnaires, and I'll tell you what the video is about that I want to make, and I'll allow you to make the decision on whether I make the video or not. Okay. P.S. It's about the Royals. Okay. So anyway, so guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'd like to give an extra special thank you to my Patreons. Until the next time, please think twice. Ta-ra a bit.